Gameranx presents another episode of Before You Buy, the show where we give you some raw, uncut gameplay and some impressions of the latest games releasing. My name is Jake Baldino, and I've been playing Fallout 4 for the last 2 weeks. So, are you guys ready? We've been riding this hype train for a while, and okay, yeah, Fallout 4, pretty great. I'd say more than anything that it just feels like more Fallout, more things that you've come to expect and love from the series, with a couple of additions that just really hooked me and sank the hooks deeper into me more than ever before. So this time around, you are once again set in a post-nuclear apocalypse future where you walk out of a vault and realize that the world is totally shit. This time around, you guys probably know the setting is Boston, and I think that makes a huge difference with the game, maybe more than anything just with the color palette, and that makes a hell of a difference. The fact that there are dead trees, running water, blue skies, cloudy skies, different colored buildings, all just kind of give the game a much more exciting look and kind of make you want to explore more than ever compared to the dull grays and browns of the last two Fallout games. If you've noticed from the gameplay, number one, it looks very nice, and also two, I've recorded all my gameplay from pretty much the beginning of my play session as to not spoil the later parts of the game for you guys, but as you can see, it looks pretty decent. I don't think the graphics are anything special on consoles, but there are some nice lighting effects and stuff like that, but occasionally textures and some facial animations look a little ugly. And since we are on the topic of performance, unfortunately I was only able to play the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One versions of the game, not the PC version of the game, and they run pretty well at a decent 30 frames per second, I guess, if you know you're okay with that. Occasionally the frame rate does chug a little bit, and especially during indoor sections when there's a lot of explosions and a lot of enemies running around. Things can kind of grind down, especially a little bit more on PS4 than Xbox One. But besides that, everything is really smooth, especially the combat this time around. Thankfully, shooting feels better than ever. Even the times when you're not relying on VATS to zoom in and focus on your target and hone on and aim at specific body parts, this time around, shooting without VATS feels good. You hold the left trigger, you aim your sights, and you fire away. And it feels pretty good. The feedback is nice, and just shooting feels pretty okay. I can deal with it. That being said, third person, while walking around in third person does look very nice. Shooting in third person still, like all of Bethesda's games, kind of leave a little bit to be desired, but it looks nice. So there's all that Fallout stuff you know and love. You explore, you dig, you scrounge for supplies, you talk to people, you do missions, you shoot things, you kill super mutants, you kill animals, you fight raiders. But the new things here that I really enjoy are weapon crafting and base building. Yes, while these kind of got quick mentions during Bethesda's press conference and when they show off the game, these to me are the biggest things of the game and the elements of the game I've spent the most time in. Holy shit. Weapon crafting is awesome. Yeah, it's pretty deep. It's not like insanely deep, but it's just it's just a sense of progression that just makes it feel really awesome and rewarding every time you build a better gun, add a new part, scrounge up supplies to cobble together a new device for your weapon. Just is so freaking awesome. There's a lot of different combinations of weapons. Bethesda was not messing around when they were talking about the customization options for these guns. You can build hundreds of different options and your own complete unique gun, and it's, like I said, really, really rewarding and satisfying. And speaking of rewarding and exciting and fulfilling, the base building construction stuff, which turned out to be a big surprise and a much deeper system than I ever imagined. Okay, so not only do you just build your own little house and stuff and give it defenses, you can also actually build entire areas and neighborhoods and build up your own buildings, multiple stories. You can add water purification systems to your rivers, you can plant gardens, harvest food, have other civilians take care of certain aspects around the neighborhood. You can even get as far as building shops and guard towers. Not to mention, on top of all that, a place to call your own. And it is all so goddamn great. It just feels so good. While it can be completely ignored if you want, it is worth diving into if you want to spend the extra time on it, because it is a ton of fun and it's incredibly deep. Almost, I don't want to go as far as saying Minecraft-y levels, but the fact that you can build different power lines and switches and light a whole place and give different things, different instructions, just feels awesome. That is where the game really hooked me in the most and made it feel really worthwhile when I would go and scavenge for supplies across the wasteland. Not only that, of course, building and customizing your character is awesome. The new perk system is a very interesting new way of leveling up, and you're not just always looking at stats, bars, and numbers. Now it gives it a little bit more of a tangible feel and you feel like you're always actually getting something every time you upgrade your character, every time you level up a point. One thing I really wasn't too crazy about were the companions. I had Dogmeat with me for a while and a couple of other characters you get along the way, but I kind of found them annoying and getting in my way most of the time. Thankfully, they did distract enemies, but they weren't too lethal. And when I was actually around exploring or checking out a city area, they would just get in my way. But besides that, like I said, speaking of city areas, the areas in the game where there are locations and hubs and communities are just so awesome, so well realized, more than any Fallout game before it, and there's just little nooks and crannies and little hidden hideaways and hidden bases everywhere throughout the world that it's just so worth checking out. Not to mention, and I'm not really spoiling anything, but there are other vaults in this game. Try and find them. And the fact that the main character is a voiced protagonist actually works pretty well. In the beginning of the game, they set up the story and why you set out of the vault and go on your adventure, and it makes sense why the protagonist has a voice. And I really like the story. I really like the way they set it up, and the goal, and the adventure. I was actually pleasantly surprised by the whole setup in the beginning of the game. I'm not spoiling it, but it's pretty damn exciting. Oh, and one other thing, power armor. This is introduced very early in the game. You're given many new places to upgrade, and you're given a suit of power armor right out of the gate. It's an old piece of crap hunk of junk, but they don't really tell you what exactly to do with it, and I kind of had to figure it out for myself. That being said, it is very much like the base building and weapon customization and how you just make it better and better and you craft it, and it just feels so damn awesome. Especially later in the game when you start actually using it, I kind of used it as a tool. I would save it only when I would gear up into it when I knew I had to trudge into a really hard dungeon or something like that. And it really does feel awesome, especially towards the end of the game. I'd say that overall the game really picks up. You gotta really put some time into it before it really becomes absolutely fantastic. At first, you might just be playing it and going, okay, cool, alright, this is like just a more awesome, good Fallout. But as you get further in the game, it really steps its game up, and it is a lot of fun. Can you hear it in my voice? This is the sound of somebody who's been marathoning this game for a really long time, but I wanted to get a good sense of what to tell you guys. And honestly, I could probably talk about it a lot more, but I'm not really sure what else to tell you guys other than that, yeah, the hype is real, and it's pretty damn awesome. I'll be in the comments answering any questions you have about Fallout 4, and also if you want to follow me on Twitter at Jake Baldino. We can talk about Fallout 4 all day. I'll be answering questions for as long as you want. If you enjoyed watching this Fallout gameplay and maybe I swayed you one way or another, do me a favor, help me out. Click the like button. And if you are new and this is your first time coming around here, subscribe because we put out videos every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.